Well, great to be here. My name is Georgia Lewis, and I'm at Dalhousie University. The title of my current project is Estimating the Environmental Performance of Dehydrated Poultry Manure Production using a Life Cycle Assessment Approach. Oh, okay. So dehydrated poultry manure itself is a permitted nutrient amendment in organic field crop production. It's used widely throughout Canada and the United States, and it's derived from conventionally raised poultry production. So that means either layer barns or from free-run broilers. And not only is it used within crop production, but it's used amongst home gardeners, within horticulture, so in indoor or in greenhouse production. And then, again, used in field crop management and for market producers. It has an estimated or average NPK value of roughly 512, depending on where it's derived from. And it also contains important organic matter. So as this product is dehydrated, so they're taking the manure from the poultry, dehydrating it, and they're turning it into a lightweight product. So this is producing a practical product for a lot of organic producers. It's easy to apply. It's light and cheap to transport. Growers are able to store it, and it is becoming more and more popular throughout North America. And there's also some strong agronomic research surrounding it. So there's been some trials within organic crop production, such as corn and potatoes. And so there's lots of benefits surrounding the product so far. So our question, as the product is becoming more and more widely used throughout North America, and also organic agriculture is based on sustainable production practices. Our research question is, what is the environmental impact of producing this dehydrated poultry manure? So the goal of our project is to characterize the environmental performance metrics of the dehydrated poultry manure production within Eastern Canada. And we're going to do this through a life cycle assessment. So a life cycle assessment is essentially finding the carbon footprint of a product or a process or a system. It's an ISO-recognized methodology, and it contains 4 steps. So really defining the goal and scope of the project and what you're trying to analyze. And then there's collecting the data or the inventory analysis. And then using a software and understanding the actual impact of the product or process itself. And throughout the framework, we want to interpret the data. And this can be used to help producers make sound management decisions. We can use the LCA to estimate the environmental loads throughout the whole process. And we can use it to improve practices or reduce waste. Through LCA, we can also compare products. So, for example, you can compare the environmental impact of an apple versus an orange. And then we can also identify life cycle stages where improvements can be made. So currently, within the LCA world, there's lots of research within poultry production itself. LCAs are common throughout agriculture, and they're common within the livestock industry. So currently, there's no research actually surrounding the environmental impacts of a value-added manure product. But there is lots of LCAs on actual poultry production itself. So it's found that poultry production contributes to environmental impacts such as global warming, eutrophication, and acidification, which we could kind of guess. But particularly within these LCAs, hotspots have been found. So hotspots are high impact areas throughout the production chain. And hotspots within poultry production have been found to be feed production. So this is due to synthetic fertilizer use and the production of fertilizer. Also, manure and manure management has been found to be a hotspot within poultry production. And it has actually been found that the manure management side of poultry production actually contributes more greenhouse gas emissions than poultry production itself. And yeah, like I was saying, there is actual no research conducted around finding the environmental impacts of a value-added manure product. So that's why we're excited about our project. So particularly for our LCA, since there's all this research surrounding the life cycle assessments around poultry production, we're going to use that as our background data. And then for our foreground data, so this is our raw data that we're going to take, and that's where we currently are within our research. We're going to team up with 2 Canadian dehydrated poultry manure producers, one who derives their manure from layer barns and the other who derives their manure from broiler production. And yeah, this will be our foreground. So we are going to identify and quantify all of the inputs, and this will include like their utility bills, fuel bills, all the materials that they use, such as packaging, all the equipments that they use, the specifications of those, and we will try to estimate the environmental performance of their particular production system. And then for our final stage in our research, we'll actually take the average of these 2 production facilities and then be able to find our the estimated environmental impacts of dehydrated poultry manure production. So through our research, we hope to provide insight on best management practices for these individual manufacturers of the dehydrated poultry manure. We hope to identify these hotspots or high impact areas throughout the dehydrated poultry manure life cycle. And through this, we'll hopefully help these manufacturers reach their sustainability goals. And then overall, we hope to just understand the environmental position of dehydrated poultry manure itself as a value-added manure product. And this can help make decisions within the organic agriculture industry for producers, researchers, and policymakers. And here are my committee members. We have Andy Hammermeister, who is with us today, and Goretti from Waterloo. And then we also have Derek Lynch and Peter Tide Smears. And that is all.